Some of you in the room right now, you are where you are, you're giving 60% when you have 120 in you. Why? Because you never made a decision. Those of you in this room, you already there. Your problem is this is stuff you don't want to give up to go. Listen to me, pound for pound, any agent in the room, pound for pound, motivational speaker, pound for pound, entrepreneur, pound for pound, athlete, pound for pound, weightlifter, pound for pound, whatever you do, I guarantee you when you do it, nobody can do it like you do it. The problem is you don't hardly do it.
Let's go. Blow the damn whistle. We back. I'm NinoBrown. This is CFB Nation, and this is CFBPrime, and I'm with my partner in crime, Leverett KT, the governor of college football. How we doing? I know we just wrapped up Debbie Dollins, but you're stepping into my realm now.
Yes, Sirski. I thoroughly enjoyed my last appearance on CFBPrime. Looking forward to this one, man. I'm good, bro. College football, the season's almost here. You know, for us, the season has been here the entire time. We've been here the entire time, but you know, it is what it is. I'm excited. 9 days away, right?
That's a crazy week, sir. We're gonna talk about week 0. I think next week. If you want to come back on CFB.
Hey, if you have me, I'm here.
Right.
Yeah, I'm here.
So there it is. We'll be talking week 0 next week. But right now, I'm gonna run you through the rapid fire gauntlet before I talk about these 3 topics. I just kind of felt there was a need to discuss. All right, you ready for rapid fire?
Let's get it, sir.
Is Miami transfer quarterback Jacoby Brown the future QB for the UCF following KJ Jefferson?
Yes, Gus Malzahn's system fits Jacoby Brown's skill set, hand and glove fit.
If KJ Jefferson has some hiccups early, could Jacoby Brown step in?
We might see him in spots. I don't think KJ Jefferson will have a hiccup. I think Gus Malzahn is going to make sure things are comfortable for KJ Jefferson. But it's weird. It feels like KJ Jefferson left Arkansas, and then a couple years ago, he was dealing with a guy named Malik Hornsby behind him, who I don't even know where Malik Hornsby is. I think they carry him on.
He's a wide receiver now.
Is he?
Yeah.
So it's funny seeing Jacoby Brown is like that all over again. But UCF is one of those teams I think is going to have a lot of success this season.
I just asked because I was kind of a fan of what he did against Georgia Tech last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he came in, he had 3 touchdowns against them. I mean, in spots, he looked good.
Yeah.
And then they went out and got Cam Ward. So you knew Jacoby Brown wasn't the guy. Cam Brown's a rental. It's just a 1-year deal. And Jacoby Brown didn't want to sit around and wait. Although I think he was kind of promised a little bit more than what he was given. Right. And they kind of wrote him off to the wind. They're like, "Here, you're going to let you run this at the end and see how you do." And then they were like, all right, we're going to go with this guy instead. If you want to stick around. Yeah, I'm not sticking around.
No, not especially if you were promised something. No.
So, all right, next one. We all know you're a huge fan of head coach Curt Cignetti.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean to the Indiana program if they can flip 5-star QB recruit Julian Juju Lewis?
It's been a lot of news lately, but let me get this in 10 words or less. Curt Cignetti will build a winner in Bloomington. Getting Julian Lewis will be pivotal in making Indiana the new cool.
I really like that because I've been doing as you know, for about a year and a half now, I've been on the Juju Lewis train, right?
For sure.
He's been my guy. I don't think he's QB1 in the class, and they just, obviously a lot of people don't because they just named Tavian Sinclair the QB1 of the class, I believe 2 or 3 days ago. But something about Juju that I really, really like. I think he's got it. Some intangible, some things you can't teach. I think he has those. I never thought Colorado was really a thing. Apparently, it is a thing. All right? I think it's not as much of a thing as other people think. And when the good folks over at 247 and On 3, they really believe Cignetti has a solid. Like he's in the if Julian Lewis. Let me put it this way: if Julian Lewis hits, the decommitment train, Indiana's the favorite. Which I don't think any of us would have even thought to say or speak of.
You can't even quantify that logically.
Now, what happens if Juju goes to Indiana? What does that do for the instant transfers? Knocking at the door. Signetti won't be able to. His battery on his phone would die.
Mm-hmm. And we've seen what he's been able to do. I mean, beating my chest last year for this guy to get a P5 job. I think he landed in an opportunity that many people don't see. He has a great opportunity. Some people might just say he should have waited one more year.
That's why.
Right. But I think it's perfect for him.
Now, they're going in with, and went out and got, what do they call these glue guys, right?
Right.
Curtis Rourke's a glue guy.
Curtis Rourke. I like him a lot. I interviewed him last year.
Hey, I think he's a dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
Had he not got injured, Ohio probably would have had a much better season.
Absolutely.
Glue guy, kind of that guy's like other guys gravitate to, want to go play. Julian Lewis said that he's visited Indiana more than once. That instantly is like, okay.
Yeah.
So visit Indiana was something that really really like kind of a little bit of shit. You got earthquakes going on. Really, really enjoyed. And something about the atmosphere and the culture.
Mm-hmm.
At Indiana, he said it's not just a basketball school.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they're doing some things. Like went out and got Elijah Sherratt, who was an absolute stud.
He's a dog.
You know what I mean? So like he went over
I
there.
seen him make crazy catches
and
in real life at the field.
Yeah, the vibe, the temp check over there, like. I really like what they're doing, and people might be sleeping on Just Selson. I know, he wasn't this, but he's the guy coming over. I think in this system, it's going to do some things. Hey, if Juju goes there, watch out. We could be talking about Indiana being a top 30 team in the next 2 to 3 years, and we're gonna be like, how did this happen?
How did this happen?
And what made Juju not? Did Juju just want to write his own story? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it would also go back to. Is Lincoln Riley a QB developer? But that is a story for another day. So let's move on to my next one. King running back Kyle Monagwai lead Rutgers to a bowl game and possibly a college football playoff bid.
Not a college football playoff bid, but Rutgers will be not only bowl eligible, they'll win 7 or 8 games this season.
Okay, I gotta bring it up.
Bring it up.
We've dabbled a little bit in it.
Yeah, we have. We've talked about this quite often. This is something that me and Jalen have talked about as well.
They open up with 2 cupcake games, right?
Mm-hmm.
At home against Howard, at home against Akron.
Mm-hmm.
And the flagship test game is obviously, September 21st against Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of a run here. This is where I kind of like, I'm shocked at how you and Jalen believe that they're going to be as good as they are, because they'd have to win 2 out of these 5, I would have to say.
Yeah.
Okay. So this run that we go on is, I know Washington is kind of like a remodeled team, right?
Yeah.
A huge rebuild here, coaching staff, the whole 9. But they're at home against Washington on the 27th.
I'm giving that one to Rutgers. Yeah, I'm giving that to Rutgers.
The next game in Nebraska.
But I'm giving them the Virginia Tech loss, and I'm giving them no. Nebraska's 50-50, but I will edge Nebraska and Lincoln.
You think that Rutgers could outscore Nebraska?
Outscore may not be the words. I believe that they can play defense. I believe that they can force turnovers. Absolutely.
I believe that too, but I think that defense is going to be on the field a ton in that game.
I would imagine. And we know what Matt Rule will do in year 2, but that's a 50-50 game for me. But I'm edging Nebraska.
Wisconsin at Rutgers. The following week, mind you.
That's a tough one. But I'm gonna get an edge to Rutgers until I see it with Wisconsin with my own eyes. I you know how I feel about Luke Fickell, culture builder. I know last year watching Wisconsin games were hard for me. Like, you remember that Georgia Southern game last year?
Yes,
it was bad. They won, but it was bad.
But look at the QB room last year.
Right. So how you feeling about TVD?
Apparently they're saying that he's looking like he looked like when everybody said he was
2021, right?
better than Will Levis, right? So, and I was never a TVD guy, but when you're coming
same.
out and you're naming him QB1, just like Ohio State named Howard QB1,
Right.
they're eliminating this stupid controversy. They're saying this is our guy. And
that's the way you're supposed to do it.
That means he's won the battle in both camps to me. So,
spring and fall. Yep.
2 years ago, he was in the first 6 games of the season. He was something.
He was.
What that something was, I'm not necessarily sure, but he was something. If he could play like that for this team, see, I think you and Jalen are banking on the Rutgers to score more than 17 points a game, and I don't think that they can.
Yeah, 17. That's nasty work. 17 points a game, bro.
You think Rutgers can put up 17 points again? Now, the thing is, against these teams, it's not just like, they'll put up 17 against Akron.
I see what you're saying. You saying not in totality.
Big Ten teams.
You saying against these Big Ten teams, can they score 17 points? Yes.
From who? Where's the production coming?
It's gonna have to be the running game, and that running game is gonna have to set up play action, and then they're gonna have to play the field position game. How do you win in the Big Ten? A lot of it is ugly play. You have to go to some deep levels to win in the Big Ten. It's ugly football, bro. It's 100% ugly football. So that's how they're going to win. I think we might get some Greg Schiano magic. I think we might get Greg Schiano magic this year, bro.
You're going to need David Copperfield, it's Chris Angel magic. To get that type of
I know. It's one of those takes that when you think about it, you be like, okay, let's look at dark horses. You know, you're the king of the rabbit. You're the king of the rabbit hole, right?
Right.
So I've gotten some of that from you. And then you just start looking at schedules, and you just start looking at things. You be like, you know what? I think I'm comfortable with this take. So you say it to yourself first. And then you say it once aloud. And then you like, you know what? I'm going all in. So this is one of them takes.
Yeah, I got it right.
This is one of them takes that either I'm going to get burned with this year, or I'm going to look like a genius. But I think they'll win 8 games this year, bro.
All right, so Nebraska, Wisconsin, UCLA, USC.
They'll beat UCLA. They'll beat USC. They'll beat Minnesota. I'm confident in it.
You said, wow. I think that there's an L somewhere between the UCL. They're going home to USC and then traveling back home in 3 weeks.
That you're right. You're right. It's tough going out west. But you and I think are kind of similar in our beliefs in USC. I'm telling you.
Oh, I'm not a fan. I don't even think Miller Moss is going to be the quarterback the whole season.
Right. But I don't know.
If they lose to Rutgers, then my prediction: Lincoln Riley ain't going to be the coach over there by the end of the year.
That's looking brilliant. I think that's looking 100% brilliant, because I don't think he anticipated going to the Big Ten. Like, he's the type of guy that wants to kind of play in a cool conference. I can see him certainly going back to the next year. I can certainly see him going back to the Big 12. He don't want to play.
Where? Who wants him?
I'm not sure. But I can certainly see a place where he does that, because he's been trying to get away. He's trying to get LSU off his schedule for how long now? He don't want to play LSU. They gonna get their boots smoked. He don't want no parts of them. No parts. He's been trying to get out of the game for years.
The Big 12, outside of Kansas and Utah, are all in developing young quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
He develops an offensive system. He don't develop quarterbacks, dude.
He doesn't. But players, for some reason, I think like Lincoln Riley. So I think
gets paid.
Yeah, he definitely does do that. So he would have to go somewhere with the resources. But I like your pick of saying he's not going to be there. But I think Rutgers beat USC though. I'm confident in that game, and in UCLA, I'm completely confident in there. My guy TJ, what's happening, bro?
TJ, what's going on? I think you're underestimating UCLA, and I don't know if I think you guys are, you and Jalen, and I love college football showdown, but I think you and Jalen are a little bit too high on how many points Rutgers are. Is Kyle Monaghan JT? Is he going to be able to put up 250 attempts again? Because that's what you look. He put up 242, so he probably would have to put up close to 300 if they're going to ride his back. He's going to get stacked boxes of 7 or 8 on the regular until they have set quarter.
He most definitely is. But they had what? What they had last year? Top 20 defense. I think they could creep into the top 15, maybe top 12 of defenses. I
Who
think
replaces Max Melton? I coming with the but listen, I'm coming, bro, because he was an integral part of that secondary. He took away a receiver, gone.
He was, but
chop, baby.
I don't know. I like Rutgers. I'm sticking with my pick. I like Rutgers. Rutgers will win 8 games this season. We continue going down the schedule though.
Well, we did. It was just I think it was only 2 more games after that.
Okay.
It was Illinois and Michigan State.
Yeah. Where's that Michigan State game at? Where's the Illinois?
At Michigan State to close out the season.
That's gonna be a tough one in East Lansing. And that's
then Jonathan Smith could have something cooking by then with Aiden Childs in the Oregon State.
And that's a program. I'm not sure where they're gonna be at this season. I'm just not sure because I like Jonathan Smith, like you said. Aiden Childs. I don't know. But like I said, 7 or 8 games. I'm confident in that.
Okay. All right. We'll recircle that. I got that highlighted. Michigan quarterback Alec Orji is an absolute freak athlete. Has already been spotted doing one-legged squats while picking up marbles. Insanity. People love, Anthony Richardson. You're gonna love this kid,
right?
Is there any chance that Orji shocks the world this season and leads Michigan to the playoff? Does he fit perfectly to what? Like, I think everybody's sleeping on the fact that he might be the perfect fit to this offense. This season.
Yeah, they're national champions. I know they lost a lot of production. I know Oregon is a sexy pick. Ohio State is a sexy pick. But you better bring your lunch pail if you're going to play quality Big Ten football. And that's something that Oregon's going to have to do. Ohio State knows that. So
they prepared themselves with the way they want to run.
You talked about Lincoln Riley spending money. The way that the faithful in Columbus has spent money this year, it's been ridiculous. But yeah, Michigan, Orji. Is he the guy though? That's the only thing. Is he the guy? Have they named a starting quarterback?
They haven't named a guy yet. But I'm confident with what I've got from Andy, from what I read. Shout out Andy and welcome to the Big House. That his Michigan show there. I think Orji's going to be the dude, and I just like I said, I believe he fits the scheme. They're going to run the ball heavily. They got Donovan Edwards is on every list for running backs possible on the watch list. It seems as though he's like I said, he came out earlier this spring and stated that he was in a bad mental place. Mental health was wearing down on him. He figured it out the last couple of weeks of the year. People are going to say, hey, he figured out how to hit the open hole. Fine, I don't give a shit. He figured that out. He wasn't doing that to beginning of the season. He figured out to just take what they're giving him and go. And he looked phenomenal in the championship. And they're saying that he looks absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, it's difficult when you gotta share carries with somebody like a Blake Corum. He's the guy now. You know how it is. When you play, I play running back until I got moved to flanker. Like you need touches to warm up. Like, and if you're not getting those type of touches, and Blake Corum is hot, it's different this year. So
and they bring in the Ohio State running back coach to replace guy.
Yeah, which was that was weird.
And we've seen what Ohio State's done with running backs over the past couple of seasons. Yes, they had CVU, but they've been pumping them out. I mean, they had 5 last year and lost 3. That all
Maya Williams, Travian Henderson,
you know what I mean?
Allen Hayden,
and Chip are probably going to be started. So
it's crazy, but yeah,
he knows what he's doing.
Michigan will be right there in the thick of things. People who are just expecting this massive fall, you're tripping.
I've been saying the same thing. All right, I put this out there on the YouTube community about the Nick Saban coaching tree. Who is the best head coach from the Nick Saban coaching tree after Kirby Smart? Now I'm going to put a little sub-spot on this, okay? Not coaches. It'll be a second question after this. Not coaches that were coaches before. We're going to go with from the coaches tree,
like
coaches he resurrected. So like Sark, Lane, Those guys don't count because they were head coaches prior.
I can say Dan Lanning, all right. He was
You
a
can say
graduate
Dan
assistant.
Lanning, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's Dan Lanning.
Jimbo.
Is Dan Lanning, and that's the answer. That's 100% the answer. And what he's building in Eugene may end up being better than what Kirby's building in Athens.
So we instantly throw away Mike Loxley.
No, I mean,
Maryland.
Maryland. You know, I like Loxley. That's my dog. I see the way the players respond to him. Programs that I've been around, and I see
Butch Jones,
Will Muschamp. Yeah, there's a lot of guys Saban has under his tree. But Dan Lanning has a bunch of things going for him. He's young, and this is a sport that's turning a lot younger than it used to be, and I think the country's about to be the same way. He's young. He has the resources. So Oregon is ready, and people love playing for Oregon, bro. So it's Dan Lanning, and watch out for Dan Lanning. That's all I got to say.
I like to. I'm going to go off script here, and I want to get your take on it. I just put out a short about the Arkansas defensive coordinator, Terrence Williams, who was at Auburn. He was a coach there as well. You mentioned about the young coaching staff and kind of getting rapport and building up to them. He came out and freestyled to his kids about the team and stuff. So what are your thoughts about connecting? You're saying that coaching staffs are getting younger.
Yeah.
And you got, Lanning doing his thing. You have coaches like Terrence Williams coming out and kind of getting down to a level.
Right.
And Cam Newton kind of commented on it, and he says not only do the coaching staffs need to kind of get down to that level, management and ADs kind of have to.
This is the future of the sport. If you want to get to understand these kids, you got to meet these kids at their level. We seen Eli Drinkowitz from Mizzou do some pretty interesting stuff, but the younger, they're young adults, but they're really resonating with that. If you want to get to know these kids, get to know where they come from, instead of them adapting to you, why don't you adapt to them? So I think that's it's going to bode well. And I think that's why think about what Dan Lanning said before the Colorado game.
Clicks.
They play for clicks. And think about how you could just look on the players, how attentive everybody was. They went out there and they put paws on them dudes, man.
Because they know right now social media is the thing, right? And so I'm gonna come down to your level and something hit home with you. Maybe when Dan Lanning was playing football and he was in college, it was something different.
It was different.
Said something to spark it up, and maybe that guy said something about your brother or whatever it was. He disrespected the logo.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now it's different. Everybody's going to social media or everybody's doing the trend or whatever it may be. You need, like I said, I know it's redundant and it's old now, but I know On Country for Old Men kind of
it's
wrapped everything around.
Not old, because at the time, think about the time when we had that discussion. It was crazy at that time, just like it's crazy with our records pick and different things. It's crazy for the time period, but when you really think about that was January 2023. Who knew that less than a year Nick Saban will be retiring? Who knew that? Nobody knew that.
No. It's just crazy, but I think that you're going to see more and more of these guys. I don't want to do this. I'm 60 years old, or I'm a grown ass man. I'm a man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Talk to me.
Look at Chip Kelly, bro. Chip Kelly wanted nothing to do with nothing, bro. Think about how good of recruiting classes he had at UCLA, and think about the effort, the piss poor effort that he put out. During the lame duck period.
He didn't want to do it no more.
He did. Yeah, he didn't.
He didn't want to go out.
He wanted to go to the NFL.
He didn't want to go and get these young kids. He didn't want to go to kids' houses and recruit them. And you did your thing. You've gone to NFL. You've come back to college twice.
Right.
I understand. I get it. But times are changing, and this is going to be you're going to see a lot of these kids. You're going to see a lot of coaches, assistant coaches coming on, specialists or whatever it may be. That were kids that were good in college, that never had a chance to go to NFL or just didn't make it. They're not going to, there's only so many kids that can go to UFL and the XFL, whatever it may be. I know they're combined now. The opportunities aren't as big as people think. Okay.
It is.
I know that the indoor football league is something that's kind of growing now, and I'm starting to see guys go from that to the XFL and then on. But they're going to become coaches. You get the kid out in Nebraska. I think he was like 2 years removed from playing football. He's like 22 years old.
Oh, yeah. I remember we talked about him last year.
He's a wide receivers coach or something like that. So you're going to see a lot more of that once they start infiltrating. Not everybody, when the rest of your coaching staff is younger, the guy at the top can't be coming out with a walker and needing oxygen by the end of the game. You're gonna need to adapt to times. So
you better have TikTok. You better understand trends.
Yeah.
I mean, because think about it. We always talk about somebody having common sense. All common sense is common knowledge. When a comedian tells a joke, he's assuming, that you have some type of common knowledge in that field. So
in that area, yeah.
These players, you're done in this area at least.
I mean, you can't be just Bill O'Brien, an older gentleman. He's hip to the time. He may not like it all because just the other day during practice, turned down for what came on, and my guy was like, "Please shut that off. It's one of the worst songs ever made." Granted, they went right back to Dropkick Murphys and stuff. But, he's hip. He understands.
Right.
Someone comes out and puts on Little Baby. He's not oblivious to what's going on. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right. Next one up. Peacock is producing a Notre Dame docuseries that drops at the end of this month. Give me your thoughts, please, because I'm always an advocate fan of people that are on Hard Knocks and all this stuff means you're trash. And I believe Notre Dame is way better than what people. It's way worse than what people are saying. I don't believe they're a top 10 team. I know I was in college football showdown earlier, just running my mouth about them a little bit. Talk to me.
Alrighty, so there is something about college football being better. My guy Vondi being better when Notre Dame is better. When they're a good team. The prestige that they've been able to keep. Just think about, Touchdown Jesus. Just think about the movie Rudy. Just think about all of these things. And he's like, I would want an inside look at that. But regardless to me being a college football fan, if I wasn't into college football, right? And then you search college football, you search the history of college football, and you learn more about the sport. Notre Dame is a team name you'll see, multiple times. But you're right. Hard Knocks approach has always been, hey, let's go find that next up-and-coming team, and then maybe we can strike gold here. I think this is just showing that, hey, we're Notre Dame. We're independent. We do what the hell we want. We don't follow the same rules you follow, and you're going to watch about us and why we're so prestigious. And I think that's all it's going to be. I think it's going to be a decent show, though.
I just think it's crazy with a head coach that I think it's kind of got a lot on his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of really I put him in the same box as James Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't really done anything,
but
yet everybody kind of likes him.
Yeah, I mean, I think
he's underachieved every year he's had to do it.
Coaches,
in my eyes.
Coaches who are former players, I think it's something that people like. But what's a better billboard, a better advertisement if you're trying to recruit people to come to your school and they get to watch this docuseries? You know what I'm saying? Like,
you don't think Alabama was a better choice?
Of course they would,
and they would. And Alabama was in dire need of a positive spin.
Would Alabama have been a better choice? Yes, of course. The storylines is there. Hey, Kalen DeBoer following the great Nick Saban, but from a field perspective, if you don't care about college football and you're a director and just all of these things you want to film, all of this B-roll you want to capture. South Bend, Indiana, bro. Over Tuscaloosa.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But you Die Hard Fighting Irish, Die Hard Roll Tide.
Oh, I mean, Roll Tide, that's just difficult to fight with, bro.
The last big piece of Notre Dame news media was about a dude's girlfriend that didn't exist.
Matt Tantel.
And I'm not trying to go like, I'm just saying, like, that was the last piece of news media that was big. Bro, he had Hartman, they underachieved. His first year in Notre Dame, they underachieved. He's done nothing but underachieve in South Bend. And they keep ranking him higher. Where was Notre Dame in the AP poll last year at this time? Were they this high? I don't think they were. I think Hartman's a better quarterback than Riley Leonard in college. 15.
They're like 15.
Notre Dame's like 7, bro.
Yeah, they're 7. And they got a tough road to the college football playoff. That's the thing that makes it difficult.
I don't get it. Penn State in the AP top 10. Overrated or underrated?
I say properly rated. And it goes back to this message I've been saying the entire time. If you can play defense, if you can run the rock, and they have a difference maker at the helm, 25 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 1.1 interception rate, second behind Bo Nix last season. I think they're properly rated for now. They have to play though. At some point, you can't be little brother. At some point, you got to say I'm big bro.
It's a lot of questions for me.
Yeah.
Okay. One is, can Abdul Carter make the switch? He's making a switch of positions in the year that's going to be eligible for the NFL draft. He's betting on himself.
He is. Okay. And I see what he's trying to do. I don't know, because I like him at linebacker.
I love him at linebacker, but he's trying to be a Micah Parsons guy.
He's trying to be a Micah Parsons guy.
I get it. I understand. That's where the money's at.
Yeah, and I mean, he got elite speed coming off the edge, and their defense is always.
With Harold Perkins, unbelievable guy in the middle, right? Put him on the outside, it was non-existent.
It was not as effective. So I believe he could be effective. But
Nicholas Singleton gonna find an explosiveness again? Because he was gone last year.
It's weird. His 2023 season remind me of Trevian Henderson's 2022 season.
But there was no injury. Henderson had an injury.
Right. It was weird because you see him, he burst onto the scene, 7 yards per carry. And then it was just like Mayan Williams and Dallin Hayden. Who do you think was a better back last year? Nick Singleton or Katron Allen?
Allen.
Me too. I believe the same thing. So
I was more consistent.
I agree.
I think he had better explosion coming out of the hole. I think I believe Nick Singleton got into his own head.
I'm sure.
And didn't get out of it. I don't think there was an injury. I just think, they say guys in baseball get the yips. Can't throw the first base.
Right.
I think Singleton had some kind of version of that where he couldn't. He was in his head too much, overthinking things, over being patient. Do I hit this hole? Do I wait to the next hole? And by that time, you've already lost your chance.
Right.
Because you don't go from almost 6 yards per carry and have 48% breakaway yards to less than 20% breakaway yards or around 20% breakaway yards. And down the stretch, he was averaging 3 yards a carry. I mean, that's just gross. For a dude who was top tier freshman running back of the year, right? Everybody was saying it was Nicholas Singleton. I don't get how everybody can shit on Drew Aller and then be okay with their ranking. Because if you're shitting on the guy that's going to supposedly carry your team, then they shouldn't be where they are, right?
Theoretically, yes. Based on if you think that he's trash, and I love the image that you found last year. And I made
him and JJ McCarthy.
Right.
JJ McCarthy's gold. JJ McCarthy's going to save the franchise. Every first round draft pick. Identical numbers. He was better in some things, and he was trash. Absolute garbage poo. Like I've talked about Drew Aller for 2 years, but I know when he hasn't played well. I understand. Excuse me, but he's flashed it. The turnover ratio to touchdowns isn't bad, right?
No, it's impressive.
My question to you is, who's catching the rock? There's a lot of questions.
Right.
It's Julian Freeman who couldn't do it at Ohio State. Now, I know the talent was there, but he couldn't beat out the other guys. Couldn't even beat out the freshmen from last year to get more playing time. Is he going to be the dude? Because Lambert Smith's gone now. So that I'm
about to say,
together would have been something. Now you're just drawing all the best guy.
Can he be better than Keandre Lambert Smith? Can he be better than Dante Cephas? That's the question. We're not really. I don't think this is really as much of a Julian Freeman question. Is can he get more separation than those guys? Because I believe that Keandre Lambert Smith showed more promise.
Separation. Yeah,
more promise in 2022 than 2023. But he had other guys there. So this year,
23. If you look at it and you go back, the first 4 to 5 games, Lambert Smith was the guy. When Penn State as a whole, I don't know if it was because the running game wasn't, whatever it was, when Penn State as a team started going in a different direction, his numbers in production
I feel like that's a James Franklin thing, though. Like, let's.
Why does he get the pass all the time?
I have no clue. The Bill Parcells mentality, like, hey man, let's keep it a close game, and maybe we got a chance to win at the end.
That's called not going out and winning. That's playing not to lose.
Right, that's playing not to lose.
That gets your ass fired.
He's got to stop doing that. He's got to stop doing that. So if they are going to make a splash in the Big Ten this year, our guy Drew Aller is going to have to make some plays.
Let's look. Monty Gaiman brought up a question. I'm going to go off script. We're going to talk about how do you guys think the Pac-12 will integrate into the Big Ten this year? I think there will be some teams that do well, and I think there will be some teams that fall flat in their face. I believe USC falls flat on their face.
Agreed.
I believe Oregon will be there right to the last freaking second of the season. I think these programs have built in different directions. Oregon was Dan Lanning is smart, and they built the program to go in year one and compete with
SEC out west. That's
yes.
how I did
they didn't get the SEC, they got the Big Ten, but they're built the same way.
Right.
Jordan James, no winning, can ground and pound. They have fast, multi-tool defensive front seven. They also have physical secondaries that have good hands that can be playmakers. That's everything that you need. You have a experience outside of Michigan. You have an experienced, educated and I want to say advanced, but advanced in the system that you've been in. Like even though he's been there for a few years, he knows the system. I know Harbaugh's gone, but it didn't change more. It just throws more take on the same system, right? So Big Ten has kind of, if you don't go and built that way, you're going to feel it. I think USC is in for a culture shock going in this year. But I think Oregon will be a major player. And that's not just because I'm a fan. I just think they'll be a major player with the way that team is built. Getting Dylan Gabriel was an absolute stamp on we're ready. That was the only thing they had a question on, right? Going into this year one thing was they have experience at the quarterback position because everywhere else they had the experience, right? And then they went and got Evan Stewart to kind of solidify the room. Like they got the grit.
Ted Johnson, like you said, they got the grit. And then I made this comment on College Football Showdown, and I share it here, that I think that Dylan Gabriel was a lot more ready from, leaving Norman and heading to Eugene than Bo Nix was leaving Auburn, because there were some Oregon fans that weren't happy about that move. They will sit here and lie to you now, but there were some Oregon fans that weren't happy about getting Bo Nix because Mike Bobo and Brian Harsin just didn't know what they were doing when they were there. Let's just be honest.
That's an episode for me and you to have on another show because that's my guy. And everybody told me he wasn't an NFL quarterback. He looking like he gonna be QB1.
He gonna be just fine, bro. He gonna be just fine.
Doing his own thing. All right, last one on rapid fire before we get into the three topics I want to discuss. Robert Griffin III and Sam Ponder were fired today by ESPN. I know this isn't all of a college football thing, but Robert Griffin does. They both do a little bit. What's going on?
ESPN has been doing this for a while. I've never gotten it. I don't get it. I heard some of the Robert Griffin situation happened when he openly went against the company and fought for Florida State being in the college football playoff. This is something that ESPN has been doing for years. What's my guy name? Dave Pollock.
Oh, David Pollard.
Yeah, when he got fired, that was last year?
Last season, beginning of the season.
That hurt me when he got fired, because I think about all
super knowledgeable guy.
Yeah, he's so knowledgeable. Just thinking about the moment he and Nick Saban had shared on screen during the national championship. I don't know. ESPN, I just don't get it. I thought Robert Griffin was doing a great job.
I thought he was doing a phenomenal job.
But I think if you're not a company guy, you know what I'm saying, sometimes that'll. Yeah, Robert Griffin, unfortunately, in ESPN eyes, he's just Stephen A. Smith, so he can't say controversial things and, get away with it, unfortunately.
It was funny, though, because they manufactured a lot of things for Robert Griffin. You remember that? Like, they had that one of them where, like, he was at 2 college football games or 3 college football games in one day.
Right.
And they filmed him how fast Robert Griffin can go from the production booth up top to the field.
Right.
So you're making money off this dude. And then you just hung him out the drive for no apparent reason. And now it's the croissant. I'm gonna call it croissant gate, bro. That's what I'm croissant you.
Oh wow!
Took a bite out of a croissant with his wife on Twitter and got 3,000 bookmarks. And the next day, got fired from ESPN. And he even put out there. He put the meme out there from Friday. I get fired on my day off, Craig.
Hey, you gotta love RG3, but he should have a job.
And Fox Sports will scoop that dude up in a heartbeat, guaranteed. And he probably will be their lead college analyst out there. And one man's trash is another man's treasure. I think
absolutely. And Fox does have a travel show that they have as well, just like college. RG3 would be perfect for that. Yeah, they even have him running from the booth one day, didn't he? Because his wife was giving birth to him. Like, come on, bro.
I think he raced the bull for
Yeah,
Colorado or
yeah, he
something
did.
like that.
He did, man.
He
He
was
provided quality content.
we talked about getting down to this level
Right.
of the people to watch
Right.
it.
Mhm.
Right now, the age group of people watching are between 18 and 40. College football, 25 dropped. Like, this is where you got to be. If you can't live in that realm.
When's the last time you watched ESPN for something not a game? Like, I'm just saying, just watched ESPN. You remember as children, it was a staple. I went to sleep to Sports Center, right? On repeat. Woke up in the morning, eating my cereal, watching Sports Center. It was a thing. I don't even watch it now, just because,
I can't tell you a host on Sports Center outside of Scott Van Pelt, and he's the best guy, and he's at late night. They only let him do the late night.
Right. He's got the late night, so I got to stop kicking my damn camera. Yeah,
Crazy.
He's got the late. Yeah, that's wild, bro.
All right. We're ACC heavy guys here.
Of course. Shout out to the ACC.
We're going to talk ACC here. Well, last time we talked about the Doak Walker. 8 wide receivers are on the Bilitnikoff Award watch list this year. Let's talk about these wide receivers that could be, at the end of the year on this list, and who's a sleeper candidate out of the ACC. I'll run them down, and I'll let you talk. I already know one of the guys you're going to talk about. It's funny that, a guy I spoke about after that BC game that nobody really wanted to even think about in Virginia now is on everybody's list and watch lists and this and that. But back then it was just, Malik Washington. But Jordan Moore, Duke, grad student wide receiver, he's on the list. Kalen Lacey, Louisville, senior wide receiver. He transferred over from South Alabama. Looks like Jamal Pritchard's going to be taking that Kalen Lacey role over there. That kid balled out in the first scrimmage. He had 5 for 168 and 2 touchdowns. So Jamal Pritchard, guy to watch out for. Casey Lacey, I think, is going to be a stud for Louisville this year. Samuel Brown, we mentioned him. Jacoby George, we mentioned him. Xavier Restrepo, we mentioned. That's 3 from Miami.
Right. We just got finished talking about
that. KC Concepcion from NC State entering his sophomore season. Elik Ayomana, Stanford, redshirt sophomore wide receiver. And then my guy, Malachi Fields, Virginia senior wide receiver. Who do you like on this list, and who's your sleeper candidate?
I'm going to talk about a kid that's not even on the list. I'm going to talk about Virginia Tech wide receiver Allie Jennings. This is a guy who was first team All Sun Belt while at ODU, scoring 14 touchdowns over 2 seasons. I was at the Virginia Tech game where he got hurt versus Purdue last year. He's a difference maker. I'm telling you, look out for him. I think him and Kyron Drones have a magnetic connection. He's a guy that I see a lot of people follow. While I do like Daquan Felton, I do like Jalen Lane. I think Allie Jennings will be the number 1 wide receiver. And if he can stay healthy this season, because he was putting up crazy numbers. Like at one point, while at ODU, he's averaging like 106 yards per game. And that was like for the duration of the season. So this is a guy that I like a lot. So
he doesn't have to be the guy either.
Yeah.
At ODU, he was the dude. You know,
yeah,
he's going to be the Elderman. He's probably going to be I think that the Quan Finn buzz is gone. Okay. I think he will be a factor. I don't know if he'll be the factor, but they have 2 freshman wide receivers that are coming in that are going to get some playing time as well.
Right.
So I don't think Everton will fall on Allie Jennings. They also have Basil Tootin, who's an absolute starter running back.
Running back, right.
Who can spread the field as well. And, Jones's mobility will help. So I love the Allie Jennings pick there. I got a guy that's not on the list either. He's kind of my both. Like my guy that I'm looking out for and my dark horse. And there's a lot, and you call me Homer if you want, but I'm gonna go Lewis Bond.
Yeah.
Wide receiver.
I wouldn't expect you to go anywhere else, but not because you're a Homer, but because you got to see him, bro.
Right. And I was worried about how Thomas Castellanos would kind of advance. And the fact that Grayson James came in and pushed him and everything out I'm reading and seeing and everything I see from Kevin Stone out there, Tommy's won the job hands down. Like they were there's no quarterback competition, which means that Tommy's progressed in his quarterback skills and throwing the ball deep. I'm hearing in camp, and I'm seeing in camp, he's throwing 45-yard strikes downfield in the end zone.
Is he?
But you have to understand, you're starting to see the emergence of Jaden Skeet, who was a kid I've been talking about since last year. He was a freshman, local boy. Now he's becoming top 3 wide receiver. Jared Brantley's there to help take some of this coverage away. The Texas Tech transfer.
How's he doing? That was my guy last year.
You pounded the table about him.
Yeah,
he got hurt. Things didn't work out. Texas Tech just had a bad season. They went to 2 quarterbacks, 3 quarterbacks last year. He's throwing some coverage away. They got 2 tight ends that are able to spread. So There's more weapons. There's more weapons in the backfield. You can't just solo on Lewis Bond. The kid averaged 12 yards per catch last year, being pretty much the solo dude for them as like, who do you got to take away the wide receiver room? Bond. And you really couldn't. Now, Tommy's more seasoned, looking better. Bond's more in his bag. Got a couple more routes that are seasoned in his bag, and he's been working on too. Man, I wouldn't be surprised if you had close, 1,000 yards for Bond, and if he's not at 1,000 yards, probably in the 850 realm, maybe double-digit touchdown. And this kid, he's going to push for a top wide receiver in the ACC, and he's going to be a name that I think will get some votes, not just from BC as a Biletnikoff winner, especially out of the ACC.
I like it.
And Malachi Fields, like, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but like you can get 100 targets on a team like dude who's leading the nation in targets. Like, he looks like a tight end playing wide receiver. When they threw a Hail Mary pass at Boston College, I was right there on the sideline. They threw a Hail Mary pass to this kid. I said to my boy Brett, I'm like, yo, this guy looks like he's a tight end. Hops up there, scoops the ball, comes down with a touchdown. Like, jump out the gym, big boy, big bodied. Like, he's a dude that you got to look out for. I think he's going to be a dominant force for them this year. But I've been talking about him for so long. I just figured, no, I don't know why Lewis Bond's value. I guess because Boston College. I mean, we really haven't had a wide receiver in forever come out of Boston College. So it's like maybe he's outside of Zay, but before Zay. It was a long time.
While. It was a while before Zay for sure.
So I think Bond's gonna be a guy, and if you keep sleeping on him, it's gonna come back to bite you in the ass. Like I said, 646 yards, 7 touchdowns, 12.4 yards per catch last year. With a brand new quarterback they brought in on the fly, dude. On the fly.
It's going
all
up.
That's going up, dude. He's the guy. So all right. Longhorns lose 2 running backs in less than a week. They're favored as a top 5 team in the AP poll. Will this hurt them this season? Now, before you get into it, I just want to touch on a couple things. I've been a Jaydon Blue guy for a very long time, hoping and praying, not that anybody would get injured, that he would just figure it out. And it seems as though he had figured it out this year, not enough to take over that role because Cedric Baxter's a 5-star dude, and he was eating for 600 yards as a true freshman last year, right? Behind a dude who would have went in the first round had he not torn his ACL in Jonathan Brooks. But what it seems like is almost every year outside of the Bijan year, that there's a Texas running back that's supposed to be the guy that gets hurt, and there's a guy that comes in behind him and just kind of fills that role, takes off, and, we don't know who this guy was. Nobody really knew about Jonathan Brooks, buried behind Bijan and Roschon Johnson, right? Boom, all of a sudden comes out, leading the nation until he gets hurt, right? Cedric Baxter, he wasn't supposed to be a guy. Soccer doesn't really play true freshman. Talent was enough, got on the field, got almost 700 yards. Obviously, blew the LCL and PCL this year, right?
You guys hit on that too. Y'all talked about him early on Debbie Darling's last season.
Very true. And me and Dean now pounded the table. We just thought there was too much talent to keep him off the field. Christian Clark now, another guy, freshman, out for the season. He had an ankle injury. He's done. It's Blue. It's Quintrevion Weisner. It's Jarek Gibson. And then a couple of other pieces. But those are the main guys. Can Jaydon Blue carry this Texas running back room? I'll answer after you. Or do we see Garrett Gibson become the new Cedric Baxter this year and step in as a true freshman and possibly lead this running back room? And does this hurt them? Or are they built to withstand this loss like they were when they lost Quinn?
It's truly unfortunate what's going on, to be honest with you. And I know it's cliche in our sport, especially in this sport, but that next man up thing is a serious thing. You already mentioned some of the history of Texas running backs getting injured, but someone else's misfortune is another person's opportunity. Exactly. So it's time for somebody to seize the opportunity. Will this hurt Texas? No. They got an assassin as a play caller. They got pieces. They got pieces there. Will it? No. So Jaydon Blue will probably be running back 1. I think still gonna be an opportunity for somebody else to get carries, whether it's Weisner or whether it's Jared Gibson, but he will probably get, I don't even want to say a the bulk of the carries because I think they're going to play 2 running backs, but maybe he'll get about, if I had to put in a percentage of 100%, he'll probably get about 65% of the carries.
You know how I feel about Texas ball players.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's Texas running back out of Klein Kane High School. I mean, this is a dude that was so electric coming out of high school. He had, out of 11 games in the senior year, I want to say it was either 6 or 7 games that were over 200 yards on the ground. Like this dude
crazy.
was just a touchdown machine. He was a yak monster, and he would cut you up like Edward Scissorhands in the middle of the field. Just got buried behind too much talent. But it's his turn. He came into this year with the light at the end of the tunnel being the size of a pen dot. Yeah. And then woke up 2 weeks ago with the light at the end of the tunnel being the size of the freaking sun. I think Jaydon Blue is going to seize the moment. I think Jaydon Blue is going to be a top 10 back in college football.
Ooh, that's a take, dog.
I think this offense is built for a big back, 6 foot, 207, 206, solid as a rock, fat, 4'3", 140, dog. My boy's certified fat.
Fun fact, on College Football 25, I do prefer Jaydon Blue over CJ Baxter. That's just a fun fact.
I'm talking about a dude with a sub 8 3-cone. I'm talking about a 10-1 broad jaw. I'm talking about a freaking athlete. You want like this guy could be baby Bijan for them this year. Wow. And it's finally happened. Like he could have coming out of high school, he was a possible 2nd, 3rd round pick, and all that went to shit. There's a good chance that he blows his ass up this year and puts himself right back in that 2nd or 3rd round pick in the 2024 NFL draft.
That would be a phenomenal. That would be a feel good story, and it'll be just another reason of why we love this sport so damn much. I can see it now. College Game Day doing a story on him, man. I can see it. So, like I said, it's his opportunity. It's his time. It's his season.
And like you said, the pieces around it, the playmaking, the guys calling the plays, being wizards, Sox knows what he's doing.
Bro.
I just think
I enjoy watching him calling plays more than anybody else in the country, especially when he take that knee. When he take that knee, look the hell out. When he take that,
that's knee, like when Saban's got the mean face.
Right. He takes that knee. And he's just, and sometimes he'll do it defensively. And you see, it's like you can see algorithms popping out of his head, bro.
It's geometry going on.
It's crazy, bro.
All right. One last one. I'm going to end the show on a talk. It seems like Colorado and me and you, we talk Colorado.
Right. We talk Colorado a lot. Yeah, we do. Me and Jayla talk Colorado a lot.
I got a question because out of all the negative that we've been, that everybody kind of has been talking about,
it's a lot going on there. Deion's got to tidy up a little bit the program. If he's going to be in Boulder for the long run, he's got some tidying up to do.
Well, the long run's a talk for another day.
All right, for sure.
They were putrid last year on defense.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
But
and the trenches all together.
Yeah. All together. But they added another guy to the defense here. Former Michigan assistant George Harlow is now added to the coach staff. He was, linebackers coach for Michigan. In the offseason, they had Warren Sapp, who seems to just be gelling with these kids. There was a video that just was released and surfaced the other day where they asked him how he feels. He says he feels like he's reborn. He feels like the babies, he calls them, has given him a purpose again. He said,
he needed this.
Yeah, he said he's been retired for a few years, and dudes in the NFL would hit him up that were 5 minutes away from his house and be like, yo, we should chop it up, talk film, talk this, that. My door's always open. Nobody shows up. Nobody calls. These kids are calling him at 5:30 in the morning. Coach Sapp, you want to watch film? I want to go over this. Yeah, but I'll be there. I'm coming down now. He said he's rejuvenated. So, and when you get guys like that get rejuvenated, can that change the culture? Can that change what the negativity was around? Not only did they bring in Sapp, they brought in Robert Livingston to be the new DC. Now he's coming over from Cincinnati, so he's bringing in a lot of NFL guys, right? And he's bringing in a lot of experienced guys in the bigger conferences, okay? Because he got it kind of figured out offensively. He knew the problem was offensive line and wide receivers. So he went and got a plethora of wide receivers, went out and got a 5-star in this class and attacked every any bigger bodied offensive lineman that hit the portal, he went and talked to, and he got a shit ton of them. But defensively, he made some moves on the line, and I don't think anybody's really kind of talking about. You got Dan Haynes, right, from Pitt. You talk about a dude who had 45 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, and 4 sacks last year, right? Was able to pry away a freshman who had production last year in I'm gonna mess this man's up. Samuel.
I know you're talking about defensive tackle. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, 5 sacks, 6 tackles for loss. I mean, he played in 11 games. I think he only started like 5 games, right? They also brought over, I know, SC's a fan of this guy, Chidozie Nwankanu from Houston. Another guy, like just a force, dominant guy. 5 tackles for loss, a sack, 25 tackles as a defensive lineman. You know, Nikhil Weber-Walker, he comes over from New Mexico State. All guys that disrupt tackles for loss, pass breakups, getting back there. You know, QB hurries and pressures. Their best tackler last year was Shiloh Sanders, safety.
Yeah.
They had less than 22 sacks amongst their starting front 4. That's gross. You were giving quarterbacks an average of 4.5 seconds to throw the ball.
That's crazy.
And now, 34.8 points per game, 124th out of 132 teams. That you had Travis Hunt, I guarantee he was hurt at the end of the year. You had Shiloh Sanders, you had Kamani Russell, you had no front 7. You really didn't. Okay. Now you went on and attacked it. Is there a chance that this defense is more refined and retuned than what people are giving a chance for? And they could be the reason why the Colorado Buffaloes are in a lot of games and possibly in the top 25 by the end of the year?
It starts with tidying up. Some of the articles that I've read, some of the things that I've seen.
Toxicity.
Yeah, it's just it's bad. You know, people reportedly being bullied. It's like GTA. Tidy up. That's the first thing. But you mentioned them already. I'm gonna mention them again. Pitt transfer Dayon Haynes. You already mentioned his stats. I think his best game last season was against BC. So you were able to see him live do his thing last season. I like the linebacker core with Trevor Woods, Levante Bentley, and Jalen Webster. They should be formidable this season. I believe, though, if they're able to get more pressure up front, which they should be able to get more pressure up front, Travis Hunter has to stay healthy. I think Shiloh's going to have to be even more of a difference maker this year. We talk about the tackles. I did not know. I don't know if you knew that he was the thumper that he was. I didn't know he could play
on and off the field.
Yeah, on and off the field. Because apparently you got a right hand too. You got to watch out for it too. It's amazing to hear or see what Warren Sapp is, because I remember kind of his last days at NFL Network, and he's always had this mantra that, like, you know, I remember reading articles like some of the like producers and directors were like afraid of him, didn't want to like make eye contact with him. He's an aggressive guy. So to hear that he's been rejuvenated, that they say as an athlete you have 2 deaths. You have, you know, the day you retire as a death, and then you have your physical death. This maybe makes him feel alive again. So the fact that players are hitting him up and willing to put in the work, you know, I don't know if it's just coach speak or people are really doing this, then that's fantastic. They just have to be better, not only on the defensive line, they also have to be better on the offensive line. But I just don't, I don't know. I'm going to still watch the games. Like I think I watched probably 10 of the 12 Colorado games last year. I'll probably watch something similar this year. I'm rooting for them. I think people probably assume that I'm not because I've been critical of them. You can be critical of something that you care about.
Still be a fan.
Yeah, you still
critical of the Patriots.
Right.
Still a fan.
Right. So it'll be interesting. Do they have the players in place? Do they have, when you have good positional coaches, that's fantastic. So we'll just have to see. Hopefully it's just more tidy. Because I don't like a better
defensive team statistically at the end of the year? USC or Colorado?
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that. I like that a lot. I want to say Colorado, but I think the Big 12 is just going to be so wide open this year as far as like points scored, and you're going to have to score points to win versus in the Big Ten, you could win some ugly games in the
They
Big
can run
Ten.
you out the building,
Right.
though.
They could, yeah, there'll be some teams that'll run you out of the building as well. But based on some of the teams that USC play, I'm trying to have a photographic memory, remember from who they play. I'm gonna edge. That's tough, bro. That's a tough question.
I'll bring
That's
up USC schedule right
Yeah,
here.
bring up USC schedule.
It's they start out at LSU. Then they play Utah State. Then they play Michigan. Then they play Wisconsin. Then they play Minnesota, Penn State, Maryland, Rutgers, Washington, Nebraska, UCLA, Notre Dame. Ain't as easy as you think.
I would say in total yardage,
they're gonna be around 300 yards a game.
Yeah. Total yardage, I think USC may be better, but points per game, I don't know. It's gonna be difficult, bro.
Be real close.
It'll be real close. I think it's a good question.
You mentioned a good thing, and I wasn't gonna bring it up, but it came into the back of my head when you brought it up because I watched it earlier this morning. You said there's 2 deaths in an athlete's life. They actually die when they die in their career. But these guys, all they know is working out and being football ready, right? I just recently watched. I think it's Chris Long has a podcast. We had Jason Kelsey on.
Did he? I like Chris Long. I gotta check that out.
And they were talking, and he said that his wife, since he's retired, as of the last month or so, has implemented he has to work out 3 days a week because he's a cranky, grumpy person when he doesn't work out. He's a different human being. This is what they have to release that those endorphins and everything in their body when they work out. They have to. This is all they know. When they don't work out and they're not playing football, that's what their worth was. This is what they did. This is all they know. They have to. So to be able to work out and just get some of that, like look at Terrell Owens. He probably could play football right now.
He could. The league don't want him to, but he could. What's the guy name? A Pouncey, one of the linemen. Have you seen him?
Shredded,
bro. Yeah, he don't even. He look like he can play wide receiver now.
That's a conversation for a different day. Okay, because you don't usually lose, and I say this about a lot of guys, but like, you see the gentleman that retired, the center from the Rams. That boy lost like 60 pounds within like 3 months after he was not playing football no more.
Right. But because a lot of them, just like the strongman competition, how they got to eat up.
Oh yeah. You look at Patty Paddington, whatever his UFC fight, put on 40 pounds right after his fight, like within 2 weeks. I don't know how you can add 40 pounds to your body. Like,
if you're cutting. And then you go back to eating Taco Bell every
day. Stuff in your face with cinnamon rolls and ho-hos and bonbons.
Yeah. That can happen quickly.
Yeah, he has to work out 2 days a week. So it's this could have put the spark back in Warren Sapp just as in his life. He could be happy a human being, a dad at home. Who knows? I think I'm not a fan of how Sean Lewis left it. Okay. I'm not a fan of how Deion, to me, as of lately, has more gone into you shouldn't throw stones if you live in a glass house. I think the shades might be blinding his vision a little bit. Like,
I agree.
You don't want past things to be put upon your team and how shitty your team was and things that happened before, but yet you hold reporters accountable for what CBS said about Colorado and you. That guy doesn't work for CBS's headquarters, but that you said to him, you work for them. You know what you want. Nah, bro, you can't say in the next breath that you respect this guy, but you don't respect him enough to answer his question because his boss, not him, did something to you and your football program. So, yeah, the tidying up thing, I agree with you 100%. But I truly believe for what they're doing defensively over there, I don't think a lot of people are talking about because it was all negative last year. The start off this year was negative for Komani hitting the portal. What did Deion do? But now when he's at Florida, seems as though he's the same screw up that he was at Colorado. Nothing really changed. Maybe it wasn't Deion. I'll defend him when I think he's right, but I'll put him out there on Front Street when I believe that he's wrong. Watch out for this defense. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I think that he's been so inspired and so remotivated and reinvigorated in his life and career. That if Deion were to stop coaching and just say, I'm done, my kid's going to the NFL, he's now a Dallas Cowboy, I don't need to coach for any team in college. I think Warren Sapp might still coach in college.
Really?
On another, I think he would go somewhere else because I think this has revigorated his life. This is the way he looks like a little kid in a candy store when they're talking to him about football. He's all fired up. And when he's like, they asked him, can you give us a couple guys on the line that you really like? And he goes, nah. He goes, we're loaded like a pistol. You get the 9mm, you can get the 42. And he don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't going to single one guy out. They're a unit. I think he's building them to think as a unit, that it's not one guy.
That's important.
And that's huge because there was a lot of egos last year. A lot of solo me.
Oh, yeah.
Stuck at the top. The fact that Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders are having arguments trying to get right already.
I love seeing that. People were commenting negatively, like, that has to happen because, you know, when you look at some of these option routes and if, you spot zone, stop. And I understood what Shedeur was saying. If you're going to stop, bro. Like, if you're going to stop.
Oh, yeah. If you tell me you're stopping, and that's what then you stop. You know what I mean? But, like, even the videos that we saw in the offseason practicing with Cam Ward was calling Shedeur out.
He was.
And they were going back and forth. So you got to be built for this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he came in from Jacksonville State, and he said, you know, Jackson State, I'm sorry. He said, you know, I had a target on my back from the day I came into school, and this is what I was built for. I question whether you thought you were as built for as much as you thought you were built for last year. Because a lot of times when the heat check came in, you kind of melted a little bit. You didn't fully burn to a puddle, but there was some sweat dripping down your brow, and you were struggling. You know what I mean? Like, you came in as though you were a seasoned vet ready to take this on. I need to see that talk. I need to see that walk this year.
Yeah, I think he'll put up incredible numbers this season. I think Dallin Hayden is going to be extremely effective this season. I'm interested.
I'll tell you something right now. I put my futures bet in Dallas Hayden under 650 rushing yards this year.
Under 650, you think be a running back by committee?
I just don't think they're a running back team.
If Dion's not controlling the offense and Pat Shurmur is controlling the offense, they're going to run the rock. So I guess we'll find out the divide. Is this a Riley and Dabble Sweeney type of ordeal, or is this
you? You run the rock. Take some stats away from your boy.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
That ain't gonna make him a first round pick.
First round pick? No, I don't think that's a bad thing. Because what he got sacked 50 times? 50?
He got sacked.
Times?
No, I don't think anybody got sacked 50 times. I think it was the high 40s. I think everybody
40s. He got sacked a lot last year.
He was top 3 in the country.
Yeah.
Him and Rattler were like right there. Rattler was like 43 or 44.
Yeah, he definitely showed how tough he was last season. But if they're running the
rock and it's by committee, and they committee get 1,200 yards or 1,500 yards.
That means they're winning games, right?
Right, but now the question is going to be they're winning games, but they're not winning games on Shedeur Sanders' back.
Right. I mean, so what was Shedeur's stats this past season?
Let me give you. I can pull that up real quick.
What he had like three or four interceptions?
1 second, sir. Shedeur Sanders had 3 interceptions, 27 touchdowns, 3,200 yards, and he was it's almost 70% complete.
So he only had 27 touchdowns. And they were throwing the ball as much as they were throwing the ball, right? Okay. He can still do that with them running the ball.
I don't think so.
You feel?
I don't think you can get I don't think that he will get 27 touchdowns if they're going to. You don't think they're going to run for any touchdowns?
Yeah, they will, but Drew Allen still had 25 touchdowns last season. They were a run-oriented team. You see what I'm saying? If they're running the ball, that means they should be possessing the ball, and I mean they should be in games. He'll have opportunities to make the plays, but if they're going to be a better team, I mean, I see what you're saying.
You think he's going to put up 3,000 yards if they're going to be a more 60-40 running team?
What? Because what were they last year? What was they like? 75-25 passing? I'm not saying they're going to be 60-40 run. Now they'll probably be like 30-70
The highest
55,
running back on
45.
their team last year, 321 yards and doing that.
Yeah, no. That I don't think that'll be the case this year.
All right. So if he gets tripled,
No,
that's 900 yards for one guy.
that's not right. I see what you're saying, like from a numbers perspective, but if they are running the ball, they're possessing the ball, their defense are getting more time on the. They shouldn't finish the season 4-8. I will hope you be near. Yeah.
But what I'm looking at is, all right, Edwards had 76 rush attempts. The next guy behind him was 76. The guy behind that was 30. Right.
And he's going to light it up at a little Apple this year, too. Him and DJ Giddens. Oh, wow.
That's stupid. Speed. And Avery Johnson. Holy smokes. God bless that one. RPO, triple option.
Yo.
You know what I mean? Like,
I can't see that team this year.
If what you're saying is right with the Hayden coming in there, they bring in they got in the dude
what was the kid
Arkansas name? Came in too. The dude from Arkansas is there as well. Augustine. I said Augustine. So they brought in dudes.
They did. That's what I'm saying. I think if Pat Shermer,
so the more times you're running, less times you're passing.
Yes.
Now when I get in the red zone, the running back is probably, if he's good and feeling hot, he's going to get more touchdowns.
He should. Theoretically, yes. But that should also open up the game. Because what does a good run game do? It slows up the pass rush if you're able to build the play action off of it. So it should be more open passing windows more than anything. But I see what you're saying. Will his statistics drop a little? Probably. But I think from the team perspective, it should help the team. And if he has team success this year, plus some individual success this year, I think he should be just fine.
If he drops below 3,000 yards, say 2,800.
I like where you're going here. Okay.
And gets this, maybe he gets more accurate, gets over to 71, 72, because he'll be able to point his throws when he needs to instead of having to force throws. And the touchdowns stay similar. And they win 9 games. Does he a more valuable NFL asset this year than, say, Drew Aller? If Drew Aller has a repeat season as what he had last season. Because if he puts up Drew Aller numbers, we're still putting him in the first round. Because if that's the case, then Drew Aller's a first-round talent.
Right.
Because he's doing it in the Big Ten longer.
For sure. I like that parallel that you just made. Yes, I think he's still a first-round talent if he do that. I think if he's able to win and, he can have similar stats, even if the drop-off in the yardage, even if there's a slight drop-off in the touchdowns, but he still keeps the interceptions low, and they're playing winning football. Colorado goes 9-3 this season. Hell yes. He's first-round talent.
Hold that. Miami wins 10 games. Either wins the ACC or misses by 1 or loses in the ACC championship, okay? Cam Ward puts up 3,000 yards, 45 total touchdowns, because he's more of a threat on the ground than Shador is.
He is.
Okay?
I like that.
Throws 10 interceptions. Who would you rather to take? Cam Ward or Shador Sanders in this day and age is NFL?
Schemes matter. You have to give me a team, bro.
Well, all right. Let's talk.
Giants. Jets.
Right? Because I don't know if Jordan Travis would be Aaron Rodgers going to be the dude?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Who else is be out there? That's a possibility.
The 2 teams you just named, I would take Cam Ward over Shador.
Dallas, if they don't sign Dak.
I would take Shador over Cam Ward.
Why?
Just politics, bro.
Because I think Cam Ward and Dallas, with the style of play they have, we're not looking at, this is Dak. You're looking at a more physical, mobile Dak before the ankle went sideways.
For sure.
You're looking at Dak, the style of Dak at Mississippi State when he was dominant in the SEC.
You certainly are. I like Cam Ward. I like Shador Sanders. Who would I like more based on the information you give? I would probably prefer Cam Ward over Shador, and the reason being is because I don't think there'll be as much of a media circus. One of the things I liked about Cam Ward, he was the first athlete that I've ever seen at a media day event, Senior Bowl. We've been to plethora of places.
Yep.
His parents were there, bro. That's the type of guy that's like, when they ask him what he like to do in your free time, they're like, yo, you leaving Washington State, you're in Miami? He's like, yo, I'm going fishing. I'm chilling at the crib. Like, that's the type of guy he is. Like, and he's genuinely that guy. Like, we walked up. He's like, yo, is that his parents? It was the first time I had ever seen that. So I just think he's a safer pick. But I think if it's Dallas is concerned, Dallas would draft Shador 100%.
As I just go and look, if you're like, all right, Jackson State, where was he?
I forgot where he was at, but he dominated at the FCS level though.
It was with JG Kynan.
It was
What the heck?
Hey, when you say it, I'm gonna get so mad, bro. I'm gonna get mad when you say it. What's the name of it? It was
Incarnate Ward.
Incarnate Ward. It was Incarnate Ward. Yeah.
Yeah. So like Incarnate Ward, Jackson State, kind of on the same level, right?
Right.
Cam Ward was dominant, bro. 50 touchdowns. This dude was stupid.
He talked about how he wants to put up those type of numbers at the FBS level to an ACC Media Days, by the way.
Went to Washington State, kind of put Washington State back on some relevancy.
He did. And that's even after he lost a good portion of his wide receiver core.
He left, and the two wide receivers that were there left right after him because they were like, yeah, nah, man.
Yeah.
Cam's not here. I'm not taking a chance with the new guy who is still in a quarterback battle right now.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know. In that comparison, but like I said, I think it's just less of a media circuits. And I know Dion only wants Shador to go to like certain teams and like big media markets. I think he should want the opposite for his son, honestly. I think he should want to go in a smaller market to where he could just focus. Because I even seen in a thing where Shallow was like, yeah, I'm not sure if you should be in Miami. And it was something in the way he said that just got me really, like, the wheels started churning. Like, what's wrong with Miami, bro? A city like Miami.
Will Levis year one out of Kentucky. Shador Sanders right now.
Will Levis year one out of Kentucky. And it's kind of not fair because I've seen I can't unsee the potential that I've seen in Will Levis. Like, I seen what he did against the Dolphins last season in the game that it looked like Tennessee should have lost. I can't unsee that. So I have to say Will Levis because I can't unsee it, you know. Now, if I didn't see that, it might be a different story. But is there something really going on with him and Mason Rudolph, or was that fake news?
Oh, that's fake news. Come on.
Hey, that was.
Hey, my guy's not gonna be a backup getting Hellman's cologne commercials. Bro. Come on, bro.
But I do like Shador. It's just you're gonna get the media circus. And
is Shador a more modern version of Geno Smith?
I think he could be a better version of Geno Smith. But I like the comparison.
Because I think Geno isn't really that mobile right now. But coming out of West Virginia, he was semi-mobile.
He was. And Shador has shown the ability to be mobile. He needs more media training. He needs a lot more media training. He's not as media trained as
down.
Yeah. He's not as media trained. And I hope people don't get offended by me saying that. He's not as media trained as he should be. There are some questions he just should not entertain. And there's a way that you can change the narrative. Yeah. And he's so honest, and you don't need to be honest.
He wants to be the opposite of kind of what his dad was.
Right.
But I think his dad did what he did. His dad developed prime time for a reason.
His dad was a huge contributor while a lot of us wanted to play cornerback, bro.
I'm saying outside of that is if you watch like the 30 for 30s or any videos with Dion, Dion came out and said that Deion Sanders and primetime are two different people. Right. He had to make a persona when he went to Florida State to be able to separate himself. That when he got on that field, I'm a dog. Oh, this is me. This is it. When I check out and leave that stadium, I can be Deion Sanders.
Right, I can be myself.
Right. I think Shador needs to figure that out.
Yeah, he does.
And he has to be able to separate the watch
two
wearing.
entities,
I'm all
right.
about the watch wearing and
Right, right.
showboating
Oh,
on the
yeah.
field. Go and do
I-
your thug fizzle, my man.
Right.
Do your thing. Because a lot of times when you were doing it, you were backing it up.
Mm-hmm. It scares me though. Senior Bowl. Think about Combine. What was that reporter name? We follow each other. I know you two follow each other too on Twitter. He came in hot with Caleb Williams. Was it Caleb Williams doing the draft combine? Just came in really hot with that.
Oh,
question.
Dustin.
Yeah. Like, and the people are gonna go at Shador because there's a lot of people who just dislike Colorado, dislike Shador Sanders.
But, hey, and no disrespect to Dustin, he's rebounded from that and everything. But that's more on Dustin than on Caleb.
Right.
Caleb just shrugged that off, and it was
right.
48 hours later, nobody even
he answered it beautifully, though. Like, I'm not sure if
Shador's ready for that.
Yeah, if he has that type of media training to be able to navigate away from that.
Everything's got to roll off the shoulders.
Yeah, it does.
Everything. You have to answer every question as if it's a job interview.
I think he gets it from his dad, and you can internally take things personally. You can't externally take things personally. Oh yeah, we took that personally. What? You're a quarterback, bro. Like, it's different between if your cornerbacks can yap, wide receivers are allowed to be divas. Quarterback are held to a certain standard, and if you want to be held at that standard, you want to earn the respect of your teammates at the NFL level. They don't give a damn. Excuse my friends, they don't give a damn that you Deion Sanders son.
Yeah,
you don't come there, earn your keep, do everything you're supposed to do as a rookie, and earn their respect. And then, so I just don't know that aspect of it, because it's a game within a game. Everybody knows that.
And on that note, this is CFBPrime. We're gonna wrap this one up. Again, we gave you a long ass episode, almost an hour and a half. We started diving down the rabbit hole.
Yes, sir.
Man, Leverett KT, the governor of college football. I am the mayor of college football, downtown NinoBrown. Blow the damn whistle.